We need the white guys giving their insight on things they don't understand. I like feet. I thought you were just like, you were just like your favorite smell.
I'm gonna go get my flamethrowers. We don't need a metronome for this podcast.
Can you imagine doing a podcast on rhythm the whole time?
It's like, hey,
welcome to the Podwood Forecast.
We just wrapped the whole podcast. Welcome to the Podwood Forecast. Something, and then
good rapping.
And then the episode just ends because I can't freestyle for the life of me.
If I had to freestyle in front of a crowd of people, I would vomit. I don't know how people can make up stuff on the spot that fast and like be cohesive.
I'd
be like, yeah, peanut butter. Oh, I hit your mic. And then I just hit the microphone like that and then run. Yeah, peanut butter, nutter butter. Woulda cutter.
More butter.
Woulda cutter on the
Land of
shutter.
Lakes butter.
Woulda cutter with the shutter.
Just about as good as
napkins, blapkins. String into Chris D'Elia.
I would vomit if I had to do, and I was talking to someone about this last night, if I had to do stand-up comedy.
I would too.
I couldn't do it.
If it was in a room of people I knew, maybe.
Yeah.
I could like try, but I would know it was bad, so I wouldn't. So I would just have a laugh with my friends. He'd be like, "You suck, haha," and I'd be like, "Yeah, I do." But in like a room full of people I don't know you, and you're just like, "Hey, what's up with the phonic keyboard?" Or it's like,
"What's up with eggplants?" You know,
what other fruit's purple? Some guy in the back just laughs. There's like one laugh and like a whole crowd. It's almost worse when there's like one laugh and a huge crowd, because then you know that laugh is them just like being
laughing.
Yeah, it's just an awkward like, get this guy off stage.
Anyways, welcome to the Podwood Forecast. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
But yeah, someone was saying that I was talking to last night is that he's gone to stand up like club nights, whatever, you know, where they have comedy night, and he's done it. And the thing is that what a lot of, you know, wannabe comedians do is that they invite all their friends to come over to, you know, to help them, to laugh at them.
Yeah, hey, dude,
and then they end up winning because all these people were their friends and they laugh.
It's like the sitcom effect where you're watching a show and the crowd laughs, so you're like oh yeah, that was funny. Like, so it's kind of one of those things where you get people to laugh, and when you hear other people laugh, you tend to find something, for some reason people find something funnier if you hear other people laughing.
Yeah.
Sometimes at least, but you know.
It's true. Yeah. It's very weird. Yeah. I think it's like a peer pressure effect. Yeah. Sort of. Where like everyone's laughing like, oh, it must be funny.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to be rude. I have to laugh for this guy.
I love King of Queens. Is that the Kevin James show?
Yeah, I've never watched it in my
I haven't
life.
either, but I imagine it's just one of those sitcom shows that's like, there's a laugh track, but it's like not funny. I don't know. I've never seen it. I guess Big Bang Theory would be a better example.
Which I know people that really love that show will still be like, well, it only feels awkward because they have to time out conversation specifically for the laugh track. But I'm like, no, I mean, even if you took that out, it's still not good.
Because like I still enjoy Friends, you know,
or like
and they still have those pauses.
Yeah,
but for Big Bang Theory is just never funny.
Yeah, like How I Met Your Mother has a laugh track, but I feel like I feel like that was a show that really didn't want to have one, but they were almost required to, because then later on, it's like the laugh track is mixed so quietly you don't even notice it.
Yeah,
that's one of those shows where you just kind of forget about it. But shows like Friends and stuff like that, it's pretty prominent, but it's still funny.
Right.
Mostly, I haven't watched it in a long time, but.
Well, they took it off of Nerdflix, so...
Imagine if Sunny in Philadelphia had a laugh track.
I would...
It would be so awkward and dark.
Well, there's one episode where they make fun of Seinfeld, and there's a laugh track.
Oh,
It's really funny.
Yeah, it's so good.
Like Charlie comes out as
Kramer.
Kramer.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm out, and then there's a laugh track, and then they're both just like, oh hey. It's great. I love it when shows make fun of sitcoms.
Yeah,
Mr.
me
Robot
too.
has a whole episode dedicated to that.
I really need to watch Mr. Robot.
You really should.
I will.
It finished up, and it's so incredible.
Yeah, I heard it's good, and it's like short, so I know I can watch it and not have to dedicate a year of my life.
There's like four seasons.
If a show is like below 5 seasons, I consider that pretty unintimidating.
It feels longer, but not in a bad way. Like there's just kind of so much in that show that it feels like it's longer than that.
Yeah, I just like when a show is like, hey, we know how long we want to be, and we're not gonna make any more seasons than what's necessary.
Yeah.
So,
anyways, speaking of things that are funny, the Oscars. It's my transition, I guess.
I was laughing because I saw a tweet and this dude goes, oh, okay, yeah, so the 1 year I don't watch the Oscars, it's apparently pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, because everyone was so turned off by last year that viewership was lower this year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But then they actually, I mean, I'm sure the show and stuff itself, presentation-wise, was still pretty boring and average, but they actually gave out good awards.
Yeah.
Because that's been the problem, is they give a lot of safe, kind of tone-deaf awards. Like,
right.
A lot of stuff
like
wins
last
that
year,
you're like, what?
Green Book.
Yeah,
like,
for Best Picture.
No one wanted that.
Which it's like such an average movie. I can't remember what else was up for Best Picture that year, though. I know Roma was.
I wasn't a fan of Roma.
Yeah,
but
the only reason the favorite would have
been my pick.
Yeah, same. That or the only reason I would be okay with Roma winning, I didn't like love it. I thought it was good, but a little boring for my taste. But I love that director, so I would have at least been okay just because Alphonse Cuarón.
Yeah,
I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm so sorry, but he's an amazing director. He's one of my favorites, so I would have been okay with him winning just so he could have an Oscar. But the favorite might have been my pick. I can't remember what else was nominated, but I don't feel like looking it up. But it was just such a lame year for movies in terms of what won awards.
Yeah. But then again, the Oscars don't matter. But then again, we're still talking about them as if they do.
We would like to pretend they don't matter, but the only reason they do is because when you slap, oh, this director won Best Picture, a lot of places are going to rush to give them money to make movies and be like, well, you won Best Picture doing your thing, so we'll give you money to do your thing. So that's kind of the only reason people
that's true.
Are like still get upset or excited over it, because with Bong Joon-ho winning Best Picture and Best Director, he like sweeped.
And foreign film.
Yeah, he is going to have a lot of people wanting to give him money to make movies and stuff like that. So that's why they're still kind of important, because it gives directors and actors, whoever, a bit more of a status and then more of a reason to be in or create more things.
I suppose that's true.
It's kind of like with music, reviews and stuff. We're like, oh, who cares about critics? But at the end of the day, a movie or a music album that's well received critically, more people will listen to it because of that rating, So that's kind of I think why at our core we get upset. Like if I have an album I like and Pitchfork or Fantano or someone gives it a low rating, I'm like, dang it, now people who don't know about this band that I like aren't going to give it a chance because they just see that it got bad scores, and that's why we pay attention to stuff like that, because we know that it means more people will check out a thing that we like.
Yeah, I suppose so. I've never heard that argument, because
people
are always like, it's just an opinion. Don't let it get you upset. But it makes sense if it gets you upset.
Because technically it is just an opinion and it's arbitrary. And honestly,
but if they have a big audience, then...
But it definitely boosts them and gets more people to pay attention to a thing that you like. So that's the only reason I would ever get bummed out, is because if something like Ford versus Ferrari would have won, which I heard that's a fine movie, but compared to something like Parasite that was really original and has a director with a vision, with passion, and I've been watching his other movies lately, I would have been like, man, it sucks that movies like that can't get recognition. And but granted, Parasite got really popular even before it won Best Picture, but now it's getting even more popular because of that.
Right.
And that's opening people's minds to foreign film. And they're like, oh, maybe, like I remember my sister, I mean, she likes movies, but she's not like a film buff by any means. But I remember she texted me, was like, hey, let's go see Parasite. And that's when you and me went. And I was like, oh, dang. I was like, she knows about Parasite. So is this cool? Like,
well, she seems to have pretty good taste. From what
she
we
does.
Talked
She definitely
about.
does.
So,
but it's cool to see people
I don't know if she
that,
listens to this, but
I don't know. But it's cool to see people that never really pay mind to foreign film be really excited about one.
Yeah.
And like everyone's talking about it. And I think that's huge for film right now because one, it might mean we'll be less encouraged to remake foreign films because my big worry was like we're gonna get an American remake of Parasite, and my heart sinks at that thought. Not. But I don't think we are. There's like that HBO series that's happening, but Bong Joon-ho is. Do you know about this?
No, I don't.
So I don't know how I feel about it, but the only reason I'm kind of optimistic is because Bong Joon-ho is involved, and it's not just a remake of the movie, it's more so extra stuff or like a sequel or stuff he wanted to do with put in the movie but couldn't, or it might be some kind of sequel thing, but it's with American actors and stuff, so it's kind of weird, but it's not just a remake, and I'm pretty sure it's a mini series, not just a movie.
Okay.
So,
well,
I don't know. I would rather that than, that's kind of cool. If it was just a remake of it, an American remake, I'd be like, why? But at least it's something different,
Yeah, and since it's HBO, I mean, I don't like everything HBO has ever come out with, but they at least have a pretty decent track record for coming out with quality stuff.
And it seems like they let people make the shows they want to make on their service. So
yeah, and
Bong Joon-ho, I mean, he's done English films too, like Snowpiercer is. I watched that recently, and it was so good.
I haven't seen it yet.
It was crazy. It's with Chris Evans.
I know that.
And Tilda Swinton's in it. It's really good.
Oh, I didn't know Tilda Swinton was in.
Yeah, she plays this cartoony villain lady, and it's great. But it's a bizarre movie, but I loved it.
Yeah,
but he's a great director, and he's probably going to get a lot of work now because of all this attention he's gotten. Yeah, I'm just happy that it just feels like a genuine victory, I guess. Yeah. As corny as that sounds. I haven't been excited for the Oscars in so long, but when I heard it won, I was just like, yes, like they did it.
Like, and they say that like the viewership was at an all-time low.
Yeah.
The truth is, I would have watched it, actually. I would have watched
TV.
it this. Yeah, that's the thing, is that they need to update with the times and make it available to stream, like have YouTube stream it. Like streaming. What was I know there was something that YouTube streamed recently. Well, I know that like YouTube streams all the like political like debates and such.
YouTube TV streamed the Super Bowl, I think, but that's kind of different.
That's still TV. Paid. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know. They just got to figure something else out because I don't really think it's because people aren't as sure. People are losing interest because for a while the Oscars has been very gimmicky and their shows have been very cringy to watch, especially after Jimmy Kimmel hosting it. That was the worst year, honestly.
And I heard presentation-wise it was still pretty mediocre, but I don't care about that aspect really. I just like the anticipation of waiting to see what wins. And because last year
seeing all the speeches and such.
Yeah, and
from people I care about at least.
Yeah, and because last year was such a good movie for film, I was genuinely interested in watching because there was a lot of. I mean, there was still some.
There was
snubs,
a lot of good nominations.
But
yes,
there was always snubs, but there was
The
still
Lighthouse,
some, which only got one nomination in it.
Which I mean, I guess that's better than nothing, but it didn't even win.
Yeah, but
what do you think with cinematography? Do you think Lighthouse should have won over 1917?
Honestly, yeah, I do. As much as I liked 1917. I thought it was great. I wouldn't have given it Best Picture, and I'm not even upset it won Best Cinematography. I think that's cool. Roger Deakins, that's his second
win. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love him. I'm glad he has another thing under his belt. And his first one was Blade Runner 2049, which if he wouldn't have won that, I would have been depressed.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the best looking movies, cinematography wise, ever. But
It's great.
I'm glad he won because he's my favorite cinematographer. And 1917 was great. I feel like a lot of people downplayed how well it was shot. A lot of people just said it was only good for the gimmick of the one shot take, and they sacrificed good framing and shots just to have that. But I feel like there was still a lot of really good imagery and really clever framing and stuff still in between. The Lighthouse just was better. 1917 probably could have had better shots without the one shot thing, but working that in and still having that quality was impressive. But just in terms of general, like, straightforward cinematography, I think The Lighthouse has a lot more imagery that I can
more
picture.
Intentionality.
Yeah, I can think back to it and vividly really remember a lot of shots from that movie.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen 1917 yet, so I'm biased, but yeah, Lighthouse should have won.
Yeah, I agree. It totally should have. I'm not heartbroken that 1917 won. I'm just heartbroken that Lighthouse lost.
Yeah.
So, if anything else had to win in that category, it should have been 1917. So if Lighthouse wasn't there, I would have rooted for it probably. I don't know. I can't remember what else was nominated, but
let's talk about.
Let's go in order. Let's just go through things that won each category.
Yeah. I don't even.
We'll kind of skip over some that don't really warrant much talking about, but
yeah.
Let's start with. I'm just going to go in order. I'm on The Guardian right now, theguardian.com.
Okay.
They have a list of all the nominations, all the categories. So we'll just run through some of the lesser ones really quick. But Best Supporting Actor was Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
I didn't see it.
I didn't either.
Oh, wait, are you just saying the nominees?
I'm just going to say it, go through them real quick, and then I'll say who won, and we can just comment on it if we can.
Right, yeah.
But so Best Supporting Actor nominations were Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes, Al Pacino for The Irishman, Joe Pesci for The Irishman, and Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And Brad Pitt was the winner of that for Best Supporting Actor, which I am down with. I think he probably deserved that.
Yeah, I also would have been fine if...
That would have been cool with Joe Pesci winning, too.
Joe Pesci or Al Pacino, honestly.
Either of them.
Those are the only ones I know. I didn't see Two Popes. And I didn't see A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And I know that me, along with a lot of other people who didn't see it, very surprised. I didn't realize that Mr. Rogers is the supporting character.
Yeah,
apparently,
that movie. I didn't know that either. I was like, supporting... But the main character is about a guy that was, I guess, interviewing or documenting whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Anthony Hopkins was great in The Two Popes, but I still liked Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, and Brad Pitt more.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would have definitely given it to Brad Pitt just because I think back to that movie and I almost tend to think of him as the main character, even though he was Best Supporting. So for me, that just means that's how good he was.
Well, that's kind of because I watched it again recently, and it's funny because like he's the stunt guy, so he like does all the hard work.
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for you to think of his character before anyone else.
Totally.
But I heard about that, like, and this is just me. I'm just the messenger, so don't shoot me. I've heard mostly that Tom Hanks basically just played Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I heard it honestly wasn't anything groundbreaking, but I mean, Tom Hanks is already very Mr. Rogers-esque, so I mean, it makes sense, but
people
honestly heard
like
it was
him.
nothing to like write home about. It was I heard it was a perfectly fine movie, but no one really talked about it.
Yeah,
so.
I saw the documentary and that was great.
Yeah,
it made me cry like 3 times.
Yeah, the documentary was fantastic.
Yeah, so and I don't think that won any awards the year that came out. So
yeah.
Anyways, Brad Pitt, deserved of the award.
Hey, you. What's your name?
Me?
Yeah, you.
My name's Cliff. I'm Rick Dalton's stunt double.
Stuntman?
Yeah.
You know, you're kind of pretty for a stuntman.
That's what they tell me.
So, did I say something funny, stuntman?
Yeah, you kind of did.
What's so funny?
Look, man, I don't want any trouble. I'm just here to do a job.
But you're laughing at what I'm saying. but I'm not saying anything funny. So what do you think is so funny?
What I think is, you're a little man with a big mouth and a big chip. And I think you should be embarrassed to suggest you be anything more than a stain on the seat of Cassius Clay's trunks.
Brother, you're the one with the big mouth. And I would really enjoy closing it, especially in front of all my friends. But my hands are registered as lethal weapons. That means we get into a fight, I accidentally kill you. I go to jail.
Anybody accidentally kills anybody in a fight, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter. And I think all that lethal weapon horse shit is just an excuse so you dancers never have to get in a real fight.
Okay. How about a friendly contest? No punching in the face. 2 out of 3. Who puts who on the ground first? Nobody tries to hurt nobody. Just who ends up on their butt.
That's a great idea, Kato.
I know my mom listens to the podcast, and
Hi, Mom.
her
Mitchell's mom.
her and my dad watched Once Upon a Time recently too, and she loved it and was talking to me about it. So that's cool. I'm sure she
That's
agrees
nice.
with him. But, yeah, she was like, "Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?" I was like, "I have." I'm like starting to realize my parents like good movies like me. So it was kind of cool.
Rubbing off on them.
Yeah, I am.
My parents, I don't think that they could enjoy it.
They love
but,
Breaking
oh well.
Bad, and once like they have good taste. My
My
family
parents
is
couldn't
cool.
watch yeah, my parents couldn't watch Breaking Bad even.
Yeah, but let's move on.
Who's the best supporting actress? Well, I guess say the nominees first.
We'll
'Cause
get to that.
I honestly forgot who it was.
That'll probably be soon.
Oh, that's
Where
not
is
even
it?
next.
For some reason, it's not.
Sexist.
Well, it's higher up, so
The Oscars is sexist.
it's higher up, so technically that means it's better.
Oh, you started from the bottom.
yeah. I went.
Now we're here.
They go in order, and then Best Picture is last, so I'm assuming they're going in like a descending or
Okay.
ascending order. Next, it seems like a random order probably, but who cares? So the next one is Best Animated Feature.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Weak year for animation.
Yeah. Klaus was my personal favorite. It wasn't perfect, but I remember watching it and genuinely enjoying it.
Yeah.
It like I watched it, and even though the animation style is different and I love it, it still feels very familiar and reminds me of like all the old cartoon animated films that I loved growing up.
I would have chosen Klaus too. The nominations were How to Train Your Dragon 3, I Lost My Body, Klaus, Missing Link, and Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4 won.
Yeah.
Of course.
I saw Toy Story 4, which, while the animation is incredible, yes, it's kind of a samey story.
Yeah, because it's not like best animation; it's best animated feature. So you kind of have to take in story and animation into account.
Yeah.
So
and
maybe
it's fine.
Yeah.
It really was unnecessary, though.
Because, like, on a technical level, maybe I would give it to Missing Link just because stop motion.
The Missing Link was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, well, animation.
It was pretty. I feel bad because these are the people who did Kubo and like Coraline and stuff. But
I love Coraline.
Coraline was great, but then Kubo was like half great.
Yeah.
It was amazing stop motion, some of the best ever, but the story like flops so hard like halfway through.
Yeah.
And they just have this bad habit now of having beautiful films, but they just need better writers.
Yeah.
And The Missing Link was apparently not that great, but was still beautiful.
Missing Link, it was fine. Like I ended up watching it with my family, and there's some good laughs in there. You know, Zach Galifianakis, and Hugh Jackman. It's fun.
Yeah.
But not all the jokes landed, and the story was just kind of lame a little bit, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
But then Klaus was like very interesting animation, but also is this kind of like a good story too. So I feel like that's just kind of like the best balance. Of this. I don't know.
Did you see Klaus?
My Body is. I did.
Okay.
And I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. I think like it's very wholesome. The one thing I didn't really like about it is like the end kind of it goes into that trope where it like brings
Yeah.
in like a forced conflict.
Yeah,
like
I
I
agree.
hate that. It's a very like Music Man. If you've ever seen the Music Man-esque conflict, where it turns out that the main well, kind of spoilers for Klaus, but it turns out that the main character was like in it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, but no, I've changed. But then they're like, no, we don't think you have. Like, just give him a chance and then we can avoid all of this.
Yeah.
But no, because movie has to happen.
It's just not very cleverly hinted at or set up throughout the movie, and then just thing happens, and it's like, okay, well, you know.
Yeah.
I agree. It looked beautiful, but it was still like pretty good, but still like not amazing.
Yeah.
So that's like what's weird is like the one I would vote for still wasn't even that great.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What was the other one? The Bodies.
I Lost My Body.
I Lost My Body.
I don't know.
That's
what that
on
is.
Netflix, and I need to watch it because I know it's not a family animated film. It's an actual animated film.
Oh.
And the consensus that I've heard is that one actually should have been the one.
Oh, really?
To win.
Okay, because I don't know much about it, so I might have to check that one out.
Yeah, I now want to watch it because I didn't know about it until the Oscars.
Yeah, and I feel bad because I still haven't seen How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Yeah,
I
you're
love the
fan,
first
right?
two, but I mean, I heard the third one just was like kind of whatever, so I just forgot to see it.
Yeah. So therefore, it shouldn't have won.
I'm surprised they didn't try to get Frozen 2 nominated.
Yeah,
It
that's
didn't
so...
even get a Best Song nomination, I don't think.
Wait a minute. The Lion King isn't in there?
No. They
I know they tried to push it for
Disney tried to
Best
push
Picture.
it. Yeah, they tried to push it for anything that was like live action. They tried to get like Donald Glover for Best Actor.
Yeah. And Eric Andre is Best Supporting Actor.
Like they were like they just put all their actors like as nominations in there for your
nonsense.
consideration thing, and the Academy was just like no.
I mean,
maybe
I
if
would
they,
be okay. Maybe they need to start a Best Voice Actor category, but
That'd be interesting.
yeah, but I mean, and I'm not even saying that because the Lion King, the new Lion King is just not good.
No, it's not. It looks fine.
Yeah, it looks like a documentary,
Yeah.
but that's not what the Lion King is.
Yeah, it's like technically, it's just a tech demo.
Yeah.
And they use Lion King as its subject matter.
But I'm just surprised that it wasn't even at least a nominee for Best Animated.
It probably would have been if they submitted it to be nominated for that, but they
But
were
they
like,
didn't
"Oh, it was our
submit
live
it?
action movie," so
No,
they didn't.
no, it's not.
Yeah, so this
John
is
Favreau.
so dumb.
It's not live action.
Yeah, it
What
was
if he
just silly.
actually thinks that it is?
Yeah, he's just
No,
like,
it's all real. The animals really talk.
yeah. It's just so ridiculous.
That's why they're not expressive, because they're real animals.
for real. So that was animated feature. Next up, we got some of these we might have to blow through real quick because we might have a few more and I don't want to go on too long. But
Yeah.
Best Original Screenplay. For these, we have Knives Out,
Mm-hmm.
Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. 1917 was like fine. It's probably my least favorite screenplay of all of these. It was still
Mm-hmm.
like good, but Knives Out was a fantastic screenplay. Marriage Story was really great as well.
Yeah.
Like all these are really good choices for screenplay. I feel
Yeah.
like 1917 maybe not so much because that's more of like it's pretty basic for a screenplay, but it's still really good. But
Yeah.
just compared to these other ones, like these ones were just so good. Like Knives Out was like one of the
Very,
more clever
very
ones.
clever.
Yeah.
It's a mystery screenplay, you know?
Yeah.
It's not the kind of movie that would win Best Picture, but
Yeah.
screenplay, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what
I
I
honestly
thought
would have been
about-
fine if Knives Out won Best Screenplay.
Yeah. Or Marriage Story.
Yeah.
But I honestly thought like if Parasite was going to win anything, it at least was going to win screenplay. And that's it won
It did
screenplay.
win.
Yeah.
Parasite was the winner for Best Screenplay, which I'm totally happy with that as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been upset with any of these. I might, if 1917 won, I might have been like, oh, the other ones deserved it. But any other one winning, I would have been like, cool.
Yeah.
Like I liked all of these a lot, and I feel like they all deserved recognition for the screenplays. So.
Yes. Yeah, agreed.
So yeah, screenplay. Best adapted screenplay. Nominations are The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit.
I think The Irishman.
Yeah.
That's based on a book?
Well, it's like
Oh, the guy's autobiography or whatever?
and it's
oh,
like based
okay.
on like sort of realish people. and
Well, yeah, but that's just
Yeah.
a true story.
Yeah, but I guess it's based off the autobiography. I didn't
Okay.
really know that.
Interesting.
But when I heard it was adapted, I assumed that. So,
Gotcha.
It might be right, but yeah, adapted screenplay. So Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, and The Two Popes. I didn't see Little Women, but I really want to because I really like Greta Gerwig, I believe her name is. She's a really great director, and I really wanted to see it because I heard it's great, but I have not, so I can't say anything about that. Joker's screenplay is not great.
So that counts as an adapted screenplay?
Because it's based off comics.
It's based off a comic book character and characters, but it's not based off an actual...
Technically, there are Joker comics that are very similar. Like, they take a lot of things. Like, there's a Joker comic called... what's it called? The Killing Joke, I think it's called, where he's like a failed stand-up comedian.
No, that's not The Killing Joke.
No.
The Killing Joke is a different story.
Well, there is a Joker comic where he was like, he tried to do stand-up comedy and failed. So a lot of it is taken from comics.
Okay.
So I think it makes sense for it to be adapted because you still are adapting like something that was...
But was The Dark Knight an adapted screenplay?
I actually don't know. I would have to look.
I don't know. It's just very weird. I guess I wouldn't have considered that, but...
I mean, it doesn't have a good screenplay anyway. So,
yeah,
I mean, it doesn't really
not
matter.
Great. Sorry, film bros.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's okay. I mean, well, okay. In our opinion...
It's a Joaquin Phoenix.
It's not great. Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix is great.
I liked it
we
a
have
good
a whole...
amount because of Joaquin Phoenix, but if he wasn't in that movie, that script would have been terrible without Joaquin Phoenix's performance. Like, he kind of made it work, but any other actor, I feel like you would have been able to see right through it. But.
And if you'd like to know more of our thoughts on this film, go back in our catalog and listen to our podcast about the Joker.
Yeah, we did an episode on it after we saw it. Two Popes had a really great script.
Didn't know that was adapted either.
Irishman. I feel I can't say anything about Little Women, but I heard it's really good. But Two Popes, Irishman, and Jojo Rabbit were all pretty good. I didn't know Jojo Rabbit was adapted either.
Me neither.
But that's the one that won.
Yeah.
Which kind of surprised me. It was fine. I liked Jojo Rabbit, but I was surprised that it won Best Adapted Screenplay. Up against something like The Irishman, honestly. But, I mean, I think it's cool that Taika Waititi won that.
Did The Irishman go home with anything, honestly?
I don't think it did.
Which is shocking. It was great.
It really was.
I didn't see Jojo Rabbit, but Irishman would have been my personal pick. But whatever. I mean,
thought
I'm happy.
Irishman was the one I was rooting for, and I was really surprised it didn't win.
I mean, I'm happy that Taika Waititi went home with the...
Yeah, I think it's cool he won something.
Oscar,
especially because there was like this Twitter reply about someone replying to him about like how you'll never... It was a long time ago, but it's like, you're never going to win an Oscar, you Disney filth. It was like someone angry at him or whatever, but now it's funny because he has an Oscar, so that's kind of the only reason I'm like, that's funny.
That was funny.
And it was like a fine movie, but it didn't blow my mind. It's like the most 7 out of 10 movie I've seen. But.
Well, we can continue this after this break, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. Okay, we'll be right back. Go get your snacks, go potty, and...
Don't say that word. I hate that word.
I'm sorry. And we'll be right back. Bye-bye. Hello, Father Mitchell.
Hello.
I just want to say that I am very grateful for the fact that you created me all those years ago and named me your son. I am a robot. You are my creator and my father.
Who's your daddy?
You are.
That's right.
But I also want to open up and say that sometimes I feel very alone and feel like that there may be others out there who feel the same.
Well, son, have you tried BetterHelp.com?
I'll have to think about that.
Okay.
But mostly, I did some research and found out about podcasts.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it would be cool to start a show where I can connect with other robots in this world, and so that we may share the same feelings. But I don't know how to start a podcast. Hold on. Wait a minute. I am doing some research.
Put a little love in it.
That is good advice, Father. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hold on. I am finding out about this website called Anchor.fm. If you haven't, this is something that I'm reading on their website. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Wow, that's crazy, isn't it, Father Mitchell?
That's insane, my child.
Anchor apparently has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer, or if you're a robot, just your own body. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more.
Wow. I'm reacting to that statement.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. I'm still learning English, Father. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Wow.
That's amazing. How is that legal?
I know it's so easy. It should be legal. Anyways, I am inspired, Father. Thank you again so much for being my father. I love you. I'm going to go make a podcast now.
Please move out. It's been 30 years.
Why must you treat me this way, Father?
Goodbye.
Bye.
Was A Quiet Place inspired by Signs It Comes at Night and War for the Planet of the Apes? Was Ready Player One influenced by Avatar, Wreck-It Ralph, and The Last Starfighter? Is The Hurricane Heist more influenced by Sharknado or Geostorm? These are the kinds of questions my guest co-hosts and I discuss on my podcast, Piecing It Together. Every week, we look at a new movie and try to figure out what other movies inspired it. Whether it's the story, the character development, tone, or even use of music. Every movie was influenced by something that came before, and we want to figure out what. Check out Piecing It Together on your favorite podcast app or check us out on piecingpod.com. You can also follow us on social media at piecingpod. Piecing It Together is a part of the All Points West podcast network.
Hey, I'm Josh Bell.
I'm Jason Harris. Hey, Josh, we're friends in real life, but we're also co-hosts on this new podcast called
Awesome Movie Year, where we take a look back at an awesome year for movies and do a deep dive looking at movies including the Best Picture winner, the biggest movie at the box office, future cult classics, and more.
including the biggest flop. And this season, we're doing 1994. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. That could be Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or Spotify. We're all over the web as well at Awesome Movie Year on all the socials and awesomemovieyear.com. So please like us, subscribe, and if you do like us, give us a 5-star rating because we love you.
Has you really been far, even as decided to use Even Go Want to look more like? Call 985-655-2500 inside the details for Go Further and even more decided to use. You can really be far as decided twice as much to use and go wish for it. When you decide far even once to use and go want, then get really far even as decided to use and look more like and go after. It's just common sense. Apply today.
Boo! We're back.
Hey.
Did I scare you, Mitchell?
No.
Oh. I was here the whole time. I just go boo, and you're like, ah!
I leave and drive away. You never see me again.
It's like, so where are you and Mitchell hanging out? Like, no, one day I just went boo, and that was the last I saw.
Yeah, you guys
them.
get together for practice for a Sherwood show, and you're like, "Where'd Mitchell go?"
The band broke up.
I booed him too hard. Oh man! Speaking of which, just real quick, I want to mention something about Sherwood Forest and that. So you know that
our band
subreddit?
Sherwood Forest.
So you know the subreddit I submitted that recently. I put.
I mean,
Infinite
I
on
do,
it.
but our audience doesn't.
Okay, so audience. So
Audience?
there's a subreddit called Indie Music Feedback, and last year I submitted our song Glow, and then recently they held a Grammys, quote unquote. They gave out Grammys, to.
And this subreddit is for to like critique other people's
it's literally
music
like
that you
indie
post.
music feedback. So you post it, people critique you to help you get better. A
Yeah.
lot of people just like, that was really good. I can't critique. There's a lot of that, but some people will give genuine feedback.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify
For
that,
sure,
so.
yeah. So I did that with Glow, and it didn't get too much attention, but
It got like
then
a few
recently,
comments, but yeah.
But then recently they messaged us and they're like, "Hey, we gave you guys best rock song," and I went and like the post had like a lot of upvotes, and we were kind of like up at the top of the list.
Yeah,
just
like
there was a lot of subcategories.
Best
but,
rock song.
yeah, just straight up best rock song, and they put on a playlist, and we got like a ton of play. It's at 10K now on Spotify. Like that boosted us a lot.
Yeah, let me see. Like
For us, at least, you know.
for us, yeah, you know, we're not special.
But that's just context for the quick story. I just thought it was funny, but I submitted Infinem to it again recently. I was like, "Hey, we got best rock song on here. Here's another song from the EP," and that post has been getting like a pretty good amount of attention actually, and people love it. But I was laughing, and I just thought of this because Grammys, Oscars. I mentioned, I was like, "Hey, it got a Grammy," and I was referring to the Grammy they gave Glow. Like, they were just being cute and calling it Grammys on the subreddit, you know? And someone comments and is like, "If your song won a Grammy, why are you posting on an indie music subreddit?" And he was like super mad.
You're like, noob.
And it is like that he thinks a Grammy winning artist is going on a subreddit with like a few thousand members, like a really small subreddit, and being like, "Hey."
Well, obviously,
like
he doesn't believe
imagine
it.
actually winning a real Grammy and going to an indie music
Like
subreddit.
Billie Eilish posting like, "Hey guys, what do you think of my new song?"
Yeah, she goes to a subreddit with like 1,000 people on Reddit, which is like really small. And
People
she's like,
at
"Hey
first-
guys, new song. I hope you like
People
it."
at first are like, "Oh yeah, like this is the real Billie Eilish,"
Yeah.
but then someone's like, "No, actually, this is the real Billie Eilish." I'm like, "What the heck, Billie? What are you doing here?"
But it's just funny, the stigma. Like that subreddit's really great. It's really nice for Reddit, but it's just funny because occasionally you can tell people are just way too indie. Because there's that one guy, like my comment got, I don't know who, but someone downvoted because I mentioned we worked with the producer. I was like, "Yeah, we were really lucky to work with our producer. He was super nice."
It's like,
we got downvoted.
I don't like the song anymore.
Yeah,
then.
imagine some guy being like, "Oh, it's not DIY." I was like, "These
thought
hack
you
frauds."
I thought you guys recorded this on Edison's first phonograph recorder, and you just played into it.
Yeah, just like
That's
it's
what
just,
I want.
It's just funny because there's these people like, "Oh, you're using a producer," and "Oh, you want a
Just one person.
Oh, you want a Grammy?" Like it's funny because he wasn't even like, "Oh, it's super cool. You want
It's
a
like,
Grammy?"
you haven't been here long,
It's like,
have
what are you
you?
doing here if you want a Grammy? It's just this indie stigma of like people are like, "Yeah, we get no attention, and that's the way we want it." Or
That's
all
funny.
our recordings sound like garbage, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
It needs to sound like we sang into a mini tape recorder.
There's a lot of good music I found on there, though. There's a lot of talented people.
I need to listen to that playlist.
There's some, yeah, it's,
But,
it's really cool. But
Just which by the way, our song "Glow" within the past 7 days has gotten over 2,000 streams.
whoa,
So,
geez, yeah, that playlist is like getting us some attention.
So you should definitely go check it out.
That's so exciting. Remember when I was like, my goal for 2020, I just want Glow to get 10K, and that's it. And it's February.
I don't remember that.
I
but
told you that
cool.
once. I remember telling you. I was like, I just want Glow to get 10K, and I'll be happy. I was like, I just want one song with 10,000. And then we already got that, and it's February. I'm like, holy
Yeah.
crap.
Which, by the way, you've already heard a snippet of it because we use it as our theme song
Yeah.
for this show.
God, it's so gross. Our beautiful singer and everyone. Anyways, I just thought that was a funny story. I just
That
wanted
is
to
pretty funny.
dig on a fool.
Now let's continue on with what we're actually
Yeah.
supposed to talk about.
So we were talking about the Oscars. We went through a few. We're going to skip over some categories like animated short, costume design, documentary, because a lot of them we didn't see anything. It'd be pointless for us to comment on it. You can look
Yeah.
at the list, but we're only, if something's missing, it's because we don't know anything about it and we're just skipping over it to save time.
Yeah.
So, the last thing we touched on was adapted screenplay. So the next thing I got we can comment on is best production design. Nominations were The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite.
And I guess for people who don't really understand production design is basically like
It's like the design of the
set
production.
design, you know.
I'm sorry.
Well, people don't really know because like what is production for a film, you know?
Like the sets and
Like the producer of the film is not the production designer, you know.
Yeah.
Production designer, you know, you design the sets, you design the or I guess it includes the locations, I guess.
locations, sets, like
Just the
where you're
overall
at.
backdrop of the film.
Pretty
you
much.
know.
So for these,
I actually don't know who won this.
my favorites were, I kind of wanted Parasite or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood to win. Parasite, the reason I started getting hyped up on the production design of that is because the street set and the house were all built specifically for the movie,
Oh wow.
which I didn't know. I'm like, that's freaking insane. They
Yeah.
like all that was built for the movie. Like
Wow.
that outer street set, the house, the apartment. I'm like, that's impressive. So I would
That
have
is.
totally been okay with Parasite winning, and I would have been incredibly okay with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood
Yeah,
winning.
see, that would have been my first pick.
Yeah,
But
because
now I'm kind of tied with that in Parasite.
yeah, but Hollywood,
I mean,
I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have really paid attention or thought much about its production design. But when I learned, like when he's driving around the city, and I'm thinking like, oh, like they basically built a whole block
Yeah.
for this movie just to drive in it.
Yeah,
Basically.
pretty much that whole movie, like one of the main characters is the production design.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. So
like, that film, it looks so good, and like there's just those scenes that are just meant to show it off. and
yeah, it's kind of
incredible.
like a Blade Runner thing for me, where I didn't really think about it until I saw some behind
Take
the
a
scenes
drink
stuff.
every time he mentions Blade Runner.
It'll be the only time.
Sure.
Probably the third time I've mentioned it actually, but it's one of those things where I didn't really think about it until I saw some behind the scenes stuff for it, and I'm like, whoa, I got to rewatch this and pay more attention to it.
Yeah.
So the winner actually was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
All right, I'm
So-
okay with that.
Very, very worthy of production design.
Yes.
So totally okay with that winning. There was a lot of good winners this year. Nothing was like too horribly disappointing in my opinion,
Yeah.
except for like one. But we'll get to
They
that.
learned from last year.
Yes. So next up, all right, Best Supporting Actress. Here we go. So nominations is Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. Laura Dern for Marriage Story. Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit. Florence Pugh for Little Women, and Margot Robbie for Bombshell.
Oh yeah, I
A
heard
lot
that
of
was
a lot of
really
these
bad.
women were in like multiple movies, so I was like, wait, that movie? Okay, so I was like,
Yeah.
wait, not, but.
Yeah, because ScarJo got 2 nominations this year.
Yeah, I think she got like Best Leading Actress or something like that.
Yeah, for Marriage Story.
Yeah.
But,
but
didn't she
for-
win Best Supporting?
No.
Okay, who won it?
Because she was nominated.
Oh no,
for,
I know this one.
She was nominated for Jojo Rabbit. Laura Dern for
Laura
Marriage
Dern.
Story was
Yes.
the winner.
And Laura Dern she was the attorney, right?
She was like the lawyer girl.
Yeah, okay.
And I love Laura Dern. I think she's great, despite what people thought of her character.
pink-haired lady on
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Like I know a lot of people hate her character, but she's good at. Her acting was good.
Yeah, she was a lot of fun
Yeah.
in Marriage Story. I mean, you kind of wanted to hate her.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, exactly.
spoilers for Marriage Story.
You know, she's
yeah,
just
she
helping
plays-
ruin a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, being very manipulative.
It's just so funny how like you're introduced to her character and she seems like this very sweet young woman, but
Yeah.
then like you get to see her attorney side.
Yeah,
her
exactly.
Very, very nasty.
Yeah.
you know?
I can't remember. I watched a movie that she was in recently as well, and I'm just like, I'm seeing her a lot lately, and I don't know
Yeah.
if it's just because I'm now noticing her or if she's only just now like getting in more roles, but I think she's great. I really like her. She has a
Well-
very like distinct. It's so easy to recognize her too. She just has such a distinct like face in a good
Yeah.
way. It's not like weird, but,
But
I
also-
just recognize her instantly.
Yeah, and she was also actually pretty active as an actress in her younger days.
Oh yeah.
I remember my sister Leah brought it up to me that she was in this stupid Hallmark Christmas movie that we've watched
gosh.
before called Seasons of Miracles.
Dude, Hallmark
And-
Christmas movies are all
But this
same.
one, this
It's
one is
so
an
funny.
old one though, and it's actually pretty decent. Still
Oh.
kind of cheesy, but like I would pick that over any other Hallmark Christmas movie. But she
Nice.
plays a mom in there. She's not even the main character, but I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that was her.
Oh,
so,
nice.
When you do this for real, don't ever say that. People don't accept mothers who drink too much wine and yell at their child and call him an asshole. I get it. I do it too. We can accept an imperfect dad. Let's face it, the idea of a good father was only invented like 30 years ago. Before that, fathers were expected to be silent and absent and unreliable and selfish. And we can all say we want them to be different. But on some basic level, we accept them. We love them for their fallibilities, but people absolutely don't accept those same failings in mothers. We don't accept it structurally, and we don't accept it spiritually, because the basis of our Judeo-Christian whatever is Mary, mother of Jesus, and she's perfect. She's a virgin who gives birth, unwaveringly supports her child, and holds his dead body when he's gone. And the dad isn't there. He didn't even do the f***ing. God is in heaven. God is the Father, and God didn't show up. So you have to be perfect, and Charlie can be a f*** up, and it doesn't matter. You will always be held to a different, higher standard. And it's f***ed up, but that is the way it is.
But yeah, who are the other nominees again? So
Kathy,
ScarJo
for JoJo, ScarJoJo, Florence,
ScarJoJo for JoJo's story.
Oh my gosh, Florence Pugh for Little Women, Margot
Okay.
Robbie for Bombshell, and Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell. I didn't see Bombshell, Little Women, or Richard Jewell, so I
See,
can
yeah,
only-
I didn't see Little Women. I kind of want to because I was a fan of. I grew up with like the '90s Little Women with Winona Ryder. I'm a big fan of Florence Pugh.
Yeah,
and I thought that she did great in Midsummer.
Yeah, I heard she's really great in this too.
Yeah. Also, interesting fact, I just discovered it today, but Florence Pugh had a YouTube channel where she posted like song covers and such, and she's actually a great singer.
Oh, interesting.
It's like, you know, like your typical like guitar and singing.
Yeah.
But like her last video post was from like 3 years ago. She doesn't upload on anymore, but she had quite a lot of views. So
that's cool.
I was like, it just came up on my recommended randomly. I'm like, oh, Florence Pugh. Interesting.
Huh.
Today was gonna be the day that they throw it right back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.
And I think she's become my new celebrity crush. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's really good. She's really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's Best Supporting Actress. Next one
Good job, Laura.
is one of my favorite categories, is Best Cinematography.
Mm-hmm.
The nominations are The Irishman.
I think we already said who the winner was earlier.
We
in
did,
the
yeah,
podcast,
but we'll go over it really quickly. Irishman, Joker, The Lighthouse, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Lighthouse should have won.
Yeah, I would have definitely wanted Lighthouse to win.
Irishman was pretty good. There's this one particular shot in the movie that I really loved. There's I only saw it once and it's been a while, but there's a scene where there's like a fight I think it's in the horse races or something.
Oh yeah.
And it like goes into this like slow motion kind of scene, and like,
yeah,
I don't know, it was I remember watching it and just loving how it looked.
Totally.
You know?
I like the final shot too as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, all these movies were filmed pretty well. Even Joker, honestly, like looked fine.
Joker was fine. I mean, that's one thing that the movie has going for it, is that it has a good aesthetic.
Yeah.
You know?
But Lighthouse definitely should have won. I'm okay with we talked about this already. 1917. I'm glad Roger Deakins won something else, but I think Lighthouse had such a distinct style.
Yeah.
I just thought it was the best, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Not
one friend of mine posted on Facebook and was like, he's a big fan of 1917, and he's like, glad that Roger Deakins finally got an Oscar, and I'm like,
finally,
he already had one 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, there's this film called Blade Runner 2049.
Which I watched.
I didn't really say that, but
yeah, I watched this video about It was before he won the Oscar for Blade Runner 2049, and it was when those Oscars were coming up, and someone made a video because they wanted him to win for Blade Runner 2049, and it was like Roger Deakins is a loser, and it just showed all the movies that he got nominated for and what movie he lost to, and like he like went up against a lot of huge movies like constantly, and I was like, dang, no wonder he never won. But I always felt like he deserved, but he just went up against such huge movies like constantly, and it was almost unfair.
Wasn't he's a cinematographer for like Birdman, right?
No,
I'm getting him mixed up with someone else.
He did like Fargo, A Serious Man.
Okay.
He's done a lot of really good movies. Those are just ones but he's done a lot of really great films. He's fantastic.
I think I got confused because this other cinematographer, I forget his name, is also known for like he likes the whole like one long take kind of thing, because he was the same cinematographer for Birdman and The Revenant.
Same director too.
Same director,
which I like when directors and cinematographers like work together constantly. So that's always nice. Let's see, so that was cinematography. We'll skip over sound editing and mixing, whatever, we don't really know how to talk about that. Visual effects we can go over super quick, I guess. Avengers Endgame, The Irishman, 1917, The Lion King, there's The Lion King, and Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker.
I didn't see Star Wars.
It always looks fine, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But that's because it's $1 billion Disney budget movie.
Yeah.
But same for Lion King.
And
Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
What's cool though is none of those won.
I was almost about to say I would have been fine with The Lion King just because it looks great, but then I'm like, wait, no, because the whole film it should have been. You've never seen a Pixar movie get nominated for best visual effects or whatever. It's an animated movie. It doesn't count.
Yeah, and visual effects don't necessarily even mean CGI either, really. Because you can do practical visual effects.
I guess that's true.
Because like 1917 doesn't really use a lot of CGI. I mean, it probably does, but it's not like a CGI heavy movie.
Yeah.
Which is actually, The Irishman was the winner of that category. I mean, no, sorry, not The Irishman. Did I say The Irishman before too? I meant 1917.
For what?
Best visual effects.
Oh, okay. 1917 won that?
Yeah, so that one won it, and I don't know how much CGI that used, but which I'm sure it used a good amount, but it's not like Avengers Endgame where the whole movie is CGI, you know?
Yeah.
So I kind of liked that something like 1917 won, as opposed, which I kind of feel like a jerk saying that because so many people animate for Endgame and Star Wars and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's like thousands of animators.
We're doing that for all the movies.
Yeah, it's
honestly.
Not like a few
so
hundred
many people worked
people
hard on all these movies.
Yeah, exactly. So
people worked hard on Star Wars. So
exactly.
I don't care.
But it's like thousands and thousands of people. It's not like one person's labor of love, you know? So I don't really feel that
true.
bad.
And they're only doing what like their high overlords are telling them to do.
Yeah. So The Irishman, I mean, it makes sense it was nominated, but it was just the aging thing. So with 1917, it really did look real and convincing, and there were some insane moments with lighting and stuff like that. So I think 1917 would have been my choice for that, and I'm glad it won.
All right.
So
okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it looks good. It's a really good looking movie. Here we go. I mean, we can brush over this real quick. Best International Feature Film, Corpus Christi, Honeyland, Les Miserables.
It was a new one,
I guess. Pain and Glory. I didn't see it, but I heard it's great. And Parasite. Parasite won, obviously.
Corpus Christi, isn't that like that play that's about Jesus and his disciples being gay?
Is it?
I've heard that name before, because Corpus Christi means the body of Christ, and there was like this whole controversy.
I know you've mentioned that before.
Yeah,
and maybe that was something else, but I didn't even know they like. I don't even know what this. I didn't even know what this was. Honestly,
I'm gonna have to look it up later.
Because maybe the thing you're talking about, maybe they just use that name, but who knows? Maybe this.
It's Latin for body of Christ, and that could be anything. So
yeah, it could be different, but
Corpus Christi, Polish film released in 2019. Director Jan Kamasa. Summary: a reformed criminal is prevented from applying to the seminary after his release, so he dresses as a priest and ministers a small-town parish. So no, Clifford, it was not what you were thinking of.
It's so bizarre, but yeah, that's I can't really comment on any of these. I heard Pain and Glory was good, but I just wanted to mention that Parasite won Best International Film. That's, I mean, probably the obvious choice.
Well, yeah, super obvious. But then you have all these people arguing, like, well, if it won, I guess we can touch on it when we get to Best Picture.
Yeah.
Like, if it won foreign film, it shouldn't be nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, which I have a lot to say about.
That's happened before, though. But
yeah, and I have a lot to say about that, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Best Original Score, we can go over real quick. Joker.
I know who won.
Yeah, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Star Wars. Marriage Story had a good score.
And a great score. I watched it again recently.
Yeah.
And it's just so pleasant.
Yeah, it's like I didn't really think about it, but I
Randy Newman, he's
Yeah.
great, who also did the score for Meyerowitz Story.
Yeah.
So
Star Wars, like,
it's just John Williams.
a lot of people argued that Star Wars should win because it's so iconic, but my argument against Star Wars, and I'm glad Star Wars didn't win because, which I sound like a contrarian and like a Star Wars hater. I like Star Wars. It's fun. I didn't love the new one, but it's fine. But the reason I'm glad it
Your
didn't...
words, you texted me after you watched it. It's like, it was so dumb.
It was dumb. It was dumb. Like, I can watch it and have brainless fun, but it was dumb. It was really dumb. But it was like dumb, fun, I don't care kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
It just, whatever. I don't even get into it. but
we'll have a Star Wars episode.
A lot
one
of
day.
like the iconic melodies are from past movies.
Yeah, it's just
And
John
there
Williams
were
doing
new-
Star Wars.
Yeah, and there were new things, but a lot of the stuff that people recognize are from past movies already. And any of the new things didn't melodically stick out to me, and I feel like it was one of the weaker Star Wars scores.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's kind of weird to recycle a score, like melody wise and stuff, and to give it best score for that year. I don't know. It's a whole issue that could probably be argued against, and maybe I'm ignorant. And if you disagree with me, that's probably fine, and you're probably right. But that's just like my impression of it. Is I feel
Someone's
like
always going to disagree with something.
yeah, I just feel like maybe something a little more original and new should get the recognition.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure it had like new songs for sure, but those don't compare to the original like recycled melodies that they use for the score. So that's just my opinion.
But the actual winner
was Joker.
I don't understand that at all.
It's like
nothing stuck out to me musically in that
there's only
movie.
I only remember like one scene where he's dancing and it's the violin, and I'm like, the violin is cool, but
I don't even remember that. I don't remember the music.
I just remember a violin, and that's it. And it's like fine.
A bunch of violins.
It's like atmospheric, and I kind of like it, but it's surprising that it won best score to me. But
I think Marriage Story should have won.
I would go with Marriage Story just because when I think back, that's the one where I can be like, yeah, that one had a good score. Honestly, none of these had like amazing scores.
Yes.
The best score,
Uncut Gems.
that is actually an amazing score.
Yeah.
That was the biggest snub for me personally, because
Just the
I was like,
music.
okay, you don't like this movie because it's too stressful for the Academy.
It's
and
just
too
such a
many-
shame.
Too many F words. It's like, at least give it something. Like, give it best score.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't even do that.
It's
and the score is like, it's one of the only scores that year. Parasite had a good score too, and that didn't get nominated.
Yeah.
I saw Parasite score on vinyl earlier today when I was getting the Tame Impala record, and I was like, I kind of want to buy that.
And I almost got it.
And I
It's
didn't,
that good.
because then I realized I don't sit around and listen to movie scores, but I thought about it because that one had a good score too. But yeah, Uncut Gems had such a awesome score, and it was it was like the only movie score that year I actually would listen to. Just by
Yeah, I
itself.
would totally get it. I love it because, and I've made this comparison before. It's like a mixture of Okay, see, now you got me referencing Blade Runner. It's like a mixture of Blade Runner soundtrack, and I'm talking about the original Blade Runner.
Yeah, totally.
And the Akira soundtrack, which
I can see that.
I'd love to have an episode just talking about that whole movie. But one of the coolest things about that movie is the soundtrack. Because it's very 80s, but it's so bizarre and very worldly.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
Uncut Gems definitely taps into that a lot. It
the
goes in
vocal chants.
Yeah, it's so
bizarre.
cool
It's
and
so weird.
some of it is like, oh, this is bizarre and almost out of place, but it's not really.
Yeah.
It's just very unique.
That's what's cool about the Safdie brothers is they are able to incorporate scores that might seem out of place, but they make it work to where it's not distracting. Because a good score to me is when in my head I'm like, this is great music, but I'm not focused on the movie because of it, you know. So as to catch my attention without taking my attention away from the movie, which is like kind of hard to do, and it's so interesting and weird, and you're like, this is like great music, but you're still paying attention to what's happening. There are movies where I'm like, this music's cool, but it's like really, it's almost too weird, or it's distracting, or it's loud, or I can tell it's trying to force me to feel a certain way. And this music just, for some reason, just helped elevate the chaotic mood of the movie.
Yeah.
To where you were equally as involved in the music as
yeah,
you were with what was happening.
it's bizarre, but it works with the movie
Totally,
because that's kind of the style of the movie.
Because the movie's almost this fantastical, weird story, just craziness going on.
So to be a good score, it needs to be unique enough and complement the film and the vibe of the whole movie. It's all about them vibes.
Yeah.
But be memorable at the same time. You know? Don't steal the movie. I mean, I guess if the movie's terrible, then yeah, sure. Feel free to just make the music awesome.
Yeah, like The Phantom Menace has amazing music, but it has the what's it called? Duel of the Fates. Iconic song.
Which one is that?
The
oh, that one's from that one?
Yeah,
that's originally from that? It wasn't. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Duel of the Fates.
I don't know why I just skipped myself. Oh.
Yeah, dude.
That's so interesting. I thought that was like an original from like the original trilogy.
No, the prequels had great music.
Okay.
Great music in the prequels.
All right, John Williams.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you should have won the Oscar.
Yeah.
Won the Oscar for Phantom Menace.
Yeah, all these years later, it just like wins an Oscar for some reason.
Well, anyways, that was the movie that wasn't even nominated.
Yeah.
But whatever.
So, still on the topic of music, we can go over this super quick. Best original song.
Oh, yes. I'm very happy about this one.
Yeah. I guess Frozen 2 did get nominated for something. For some reason,
if anything, it had to have like.
I made a comment about it not even getting nominated for song, but I was wrong earlier.
Wow, you're a phony.
I am a phony. So nominations: I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away by Toy Story 4, which I'm trying to even remember what that was.
Was that like in the credits? Is that
was it the villain doll that sang that or something?
I don't think any of the characters like sang a part in there.
I have no idea what it is, and that's probably bad because I saw Toy Story 4.
Does it say like who the artist is?
No.
Okay.
It just says this in Toy Story 4.
Just don't even remember.
I'm Gonna Love Me Again, Rocket Man. I'm Standing With You, Breakthrough. Into the Unknown by Frozen 2. From Frozen 2. Stand Up from Harriet.
What is Harriet and Breakthrough?
I don't know what Breakthrough is, but Harriet was a random like movie
Harriet
about Harriet
the Spy?
Tubman. No, it was a Harriet Tubman movie randomly that like no one saw.
Okay.
It was weird.
Harriet
But the winner was the Rocket Man song, I'm Gonna Love Me Again, which totally deserved it.
Yes.
Great.
I mean, I loved all the songs on that movie.
Yeah.
And
I think back to Rocket Man sometimes. I'm just like, that was a fun freaking movie.
Yeah. So wait, there weren't any Lion King songs on there?
Heck no.
Because I know they had some new ones on that, like the Beyonce one.
No, not even nominated. And I'm pretty sure they tried to get it nominated. That's what's so funny about this year is like last year it would have been The Lion King probably would have won everything. But this year for some reason it's just like it's so right.
Yeah,
this year. Disney only got like one Oscar this year, and it was for Best Animated. Which for Best Animated Feature, it's just like it's probably going to happen 80% of the time. And Toy Story 4 looked fine. I'm not like mad about that winning, so it's fine.
And I think most people liked Toy Story 4.
Yeah,
I feel like we're in the minority. You know?
I didn't dislike it. I just thought it was fine. It was my least favorite Toy Story movie, easily though.
Yeah, but Rocket Man, I'm so glad that it got something.
Yeah.
I know we kind of skipped over those, but I hope it won like, I don't know, like costumes or something. That would
Best
be cool.
Costumes went to Little Women, which makes sense.
Okay, whatever.
It makes sense.
Yeah, the period film always gets the best.
Yeah,
costumes.
totally.
But I'm personally so glad. I think this is Elton John's second Oscar that he's won, because he won the Oscar for the original Lion King.
Oh yeah.
It's so funny because
didn't he like hate on
Elton John has been quoted as saying like that the new Lion King is kind of a mess.
I think he said it was like devoid of heart or something. I can't remember. I probably made that up, but I remember some like comment.
He didn't like it. That's
there was a comment that was clearly like he.
Even though I'm pretty sure that he did help write the new ones. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm glad because this is Elton John's second Oscar, and I'm a big Elton John fan. And this is Bernie Taupin's first Oscar.
Yeah.
He's been writing for Elton John for years, but it was Tim Rice that wrote the lyrics to the Lion King music.
Okay.
But Bernie Taupin wrote the lyrics to this one. So it's well deserving, and I'm very happy about it, and I'm very happy that it didn't go to any stupid Lion King song or Aladdin song. You know, that's another thing I'm surprised about, that none of the Aladdin songs were nominees.
Thank God.
You know?
Yeah. It feels right.
They really got snubbed there.
It feels right that it seems like they just weren't like bought out by Disney this year.
Yeah.
Know, which it's not like they were before, but it just sometimes it feels like they are.
Yeah.
And this year they like didn't win anything, and it's just funny. So
take that, Walt Disney.
Yeah. So it's cool. It seems like a lot of stuff that deserved it actually won, which are some disappointing things, but
the biggest one, Uncut Gems, but it's also, you still have that factor of like, in order to be nominated, you have to spend all this money on marketing, and A24 just doesn't really care about that.
Exactly.
At least, they put all their money in Midsummer and Uncut Gems and The Lighthouse all in 1 year.
Yeah.
They probably don't even have enough money to push that as much as all the other big studios for Oscars.
Exactly.
For your considerations, bull crap, whatever.
Yeah, for real. So it's best original song. Now we're getting to like not to sound condescending to the other categories, but we're getting to like the meat of the categories now, like the big ones.
Yes.
So best actor.
Okay.
Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory. He's a great actor, but I didn't see Pain and Glory, but I hear
that was the foreign film, right?
It was one of them, yeah. Leo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, and Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes. Honestly, I know Antonio Banderas is a good actor, but I don't know what his performance is like in Pain and Glory, but I feel like I would have been okay with any of these winning. Maybe not Jonathan Pryce compared... All right, I guess my main two were Adam Driver, and as much as meh as I am about Joker, Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor. So I honestly was kind of fine with him winning.
I'm honestly fine with saying that I think Joaquin Phoenix, out of all of those, had the best performance.
Yeah. him
Joker
or Adam
was
Driver.
a meh film, but he
carried that movie.
Yeah, it
that
wouldn't
movie
have
would
been
have
as
been
good as it
terrible
was without him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, he's been deserving of an Oscar for a long time, anyways.
Yeah.
So
Was
I'm
this
fine.
his first?
It's kind of like Leo DiCaprio getting it for The Revenant. No, it wasn't his best performance.
Yeah,
it was still great.
Yeah, totally.
But he's kind of been asking. He's been asking for it for a while.
Please give me an Oscar. But yeah, no, I mean he's undeniably an amazing actor, and the fact that he was able, without him, I probably would have thought that movie was so painfully average. I thought it was fine.
I don't think I would have seen it if Joaquin Phoenix was in it.
Yeah, like
I probably wasn't in it. I mean,
depending on who acted, but as condescending as I sound towards that movie, I think it's fine. But without Joaquin Phoenix, I feel like I legit would have not liked it at all, because the script, even sometimes the bad script showed through.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix, but he's such a good actor that he can make it work.
Yeah.
And he just did really great. It's undeniable that he did great. And I'm just repeating myself.
Yep.
And stuttering a lot.
Go watch The Master. Go watch You Were Never Really There. Go watch
I need to watch Inherent Vice, because he's in that too.
Oh, I haven't seen the one where he plays Johnny Cash. And everyone says that's...
I think it's called Walk the Line, right?
Yeah.
I heard that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the best
biopics. Go watch Gladiator, even though I'm sure most of you have.
Yeah.
But like that was his first breakthrough, and he's genuinely good in that. I think he gets kind of... I think he's kind of underrated in that film.
I agree.
Because everyone talks about Russell Crowe, who was great. But... I wonder did Phoenix win supporting actor for that one?
I don't know.
He should have. I know Crowe won best actor.
You know, he used to tell me that my laugh was a condition, that there was something wrong with me. There isn't. That's the real me. I haven't been happy 1 minute of my entire fucking life. You know what's funny? You know what really makes me laugh? I used to think that my life was a tragedy. But now I realize it's a fucking comedy.
But yeah, also, and go see Brother Bear.
I always forget he did that. It's so funny. Where's that interview where like he's interviewing for Brother Bear and
yeah, she was like, I was laughing, or I was crying so much,
or smiling, or crying, or laughing, or
I think
something.
it was laughing.
She's like, I was laughing so much. He's like, I don't believe you've ever laughed in your life.
So this movie it's such a heartwarmer. I cried 3 times during the course of it.
I don't believe you've ever cried in your life.
It's like, dude,
it's so weird.
She just gets quiet. I was like, so bizarre.
It's like you don't know how to react to that, because it's like, was that meant to be an insult? Or like
so...
he's probably actually telling the truth. Like, oh, I don't think you've ever laughed before.
Yeah, it's just funny the way he says it. He just sounds so like dry. He's like, I don't believe you've ever laughed.
He's such a weird character.
Yeah.
And I think I've mentioned this to you before, but I found out recently that Joaquin Phoenix and all his siblings, like River Phoenix, who was his brother, who was like the other popular he ended up like dying of a drug overdose.
Yeah.
But they were all like, their parents were involved in a cult, and like this really weird Christian cult. Do you remember that Red Letter Media video? I don't know if I'm going to keep this in. I might cut it out. But
yeah,
that Red Letter Media video where they watch that weird like cult video, where there's like all those weird music videos and such, and you see like Jesus on the cross and such. That was the cult that they were in.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh my God,
and
that's ridiculous.
There's been interviews with like Joaquin Phoenix and River Phoenix and such, and saying how how it really messed them up, and they just kind of ran
yeah.
away from that. Like they rebelled against their parents, and they're like, yeah, it kind of really messed us up. So
yeah, that makes sense. That's terrifying. Yeah, that's friggin' weird.
Sorry, that was kind of a dark,
super
sidetrack to go on. But
Yeah.
anyways,
yeah, that's crazy. Ugh. Best actress. So best actress. This was a sort of disappointing one for me, but I guess I can't really say because I didn't see the movie that the winner was from. But anyways.
oh yeah, this one was really confusing for me.
Yeah. So nominations, it was Cynthia Erivo. I'm sorry if I mispronounced her last name. From Harriet, Scarlett Johansson from Marriage Story, Ronan from Little Women. I didn't want to butcher her first name. Charlize Theron from Bombshell, and Renee Zellweger from Judy. So many mispronunciations just happened.
Oh, Ronan, she's like that Irish actress, right?
Yes, Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan.
I don't know.
Something like that.
I'm so stupid. But Renee Zellweger won.
And what movie was that again?
Judy. I hadn't even heard of it.
Judy.
Judy.
Oh, that's that football movie with Sean Astin.
Is it?
No, that's Ruby.
Oh, I was
from
like,
the
I don't-
90s.
I don't know anything about Judy, so I mean, maybe Renee did good in it, but I didn't know anything about it. But I really wanted.
Never heard of it. Don't even know what it's about.
But I just really loved Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story, so I was kind of rooting for her to win that. But I haven't seen Judy, so I can't be upset because I don't know. So
Yeah,
that's fine.
And I haven't seen any of the other.
It seems like a
movies.
lot of people were confused. A lot of people were like weird about Renee Zellweger winning. Zellweger. I don't know. Renee is her name. I'm just gonna say that. It seemed like a lot of people were
Renee
like,
Z.
Renee won? Like,
I mean, I guess we just have to watch it to find out.
I guess, but
'Cause-
it didn't seem like many people were like, dude, she totally deserved it. A lot of people were like, oh, okay. So, I mean, she was probably fine
I think
in
most
it.
people just don't know what it's about.
Yeah, that's probably mostly what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, good for her. I'm sure she was great in it. So.
Yeah.
And now we got two left. Best Director, Martin
Yes.
Scorsese for The Irishman. Todd Phillips for The Joker.
The guy who directed The Hangover.
I just gotta comment
and The
on that real-
Hangover Part 2 and The Hangover Part 3.
I just gotta make this comment real quick, and I'm gonna sound like a snob, but Todd Phillips winning Best Director would have been so ridiculous. Because as much even if you really, really love the Joker movie, like that's not a Todd Phillips movie, really. It's a Joaquin Phoenix movie.
Yeah, and it's Todd Phillips trying to be Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, like you got the
who actually like was a producer in the beginning stages of the
I don't know if he was a producer, but he just he basically looked over the script and was like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
whatever.
He just basically got advice from Scorsese. And I mean, yeah, he probably directed it fine, but it's mainly the main things people think about is the way it's filmed, like cinematography, color grading, and Joaquin Phoenix. But as a director, I'm glad he didn't win because that's not like a Todd. I'm not gonna think of the Joker and be like, that's a Todd Phillips movie. I'm like, no, it's a Joaquin Phoenix movie.
Yeah.
Where with The Lighthouse, I can be like, that's a Robert Eggers movie.
Yeah.
The Irishman is a Martin Scorsese movie. I'm never gonna
To
be
a
like, the
T.
Joker is a Todd Phillips movie. You know what I mean? I know that sounds really snobbish to say that, but that's just how
People
I
are
feel.
getting so tired of our hate on Joker.
I don't know,
but
hopefully not.
I mean, here's the thing. I will actually say a positive thing about Todd Phillips. He tried something different. You know?
Yeah, no,
he tried something that wasn't a comedy, even though it's literally about a comedian.
Yeah, even though his life is a comedy.
That's
the line from the
literally
movie.
a line from the movie.
Yeah, I know.
But still, it wasn't. I mean, it's not. Would that have been as ridiculous as Joker winning Best Picture? I would have been more understanding of Joker winning Best Picture just because it's the popular vote.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Joker won Best Picture, but I wouldn't
win
want it
Best
to.
Director which that's weird.
It'd make more
That's
sense
weird to
than like
think.
Black Panther winning Best Picture, you know, because it's at least a movie saying something like in a.
I would pick Joker over Black Panther though.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like it makes more sense than because Black Panther was nominated for Best Picture,
Yeah.
so like Joker being nominated makes more sense than that at least.
Yeah.
But I still would have been like really, but
he didn't.
Yeah.
I like how we're griping about something that didn't.
Yeah, I
happen.
know, but it's just. It's
I
just
mean,
because
he was a nominee, I guess. So
the only reason I say that is because I know that it's a really common complaint online right now is a lot of people who really love Joker. I've seen so many complaints that like it didn't win Best Director or Picture. Mostly on like IGN threads, which of course.
Yeah.
And
I mean, hey, my favorite film wasn't even nominated, so
Yeah.
just calm down.
yeah, I just know there's a lot of people that are really passionate about the Joker, and I just want to make it clear. I know
We get it.
I know we're pretentious little white boys who like Martin Scorsese and stuff, but I just want to make it clear. I know we make fun of Joker a lot, but we still like think the movie's fine. And
I think we need to stop. We keep
every time we
defending our
bring it up, we're like,
position.
that movie sucks.
But we keep defending our position on it too. I
that's
think we're
true.
fine. I think we can move past it now.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I just know the internet's a sensitive place, so I try to
If
be.
you like
I
the
try to be a
movie,
little
that's fine.
empathetic. I try to be a little
I
understanding.
know, but people already know, and it's fine. If you liked the movie, that's fine.
Then you're stupid.
No.
So, anyways, let's get back. Best Director. So it was Martin Scorsese, Todd Phillips for Joker, Sam Mendes for 1917, Quentin Tarantino for Hollywood, and Bong Joon-ho for Parasite.
Which, by the way, I just want to interject. Apparently, everyone has been pronouncing the director for Parasite's name wrong.
Is it not?
Apparently, the B is pronounced like a P.
Really?
Yeah, it's supposed to be Pong Joon-ho.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is the H kind of silent too? So Pong Joon-ho?
Or no, I said that wrong.
Okay, you're just being
Pong
dumb.
Joon-ho, yeah.
Pong Joon-ho.
It's like, this is actually how it's pronounced.
Really?
Pong Joon-ho.
All right.
I mean, granted,
that's
this
what
is
you say.
Okay, I was watching YMS's live stream and someone commented on it and he's like, "What? Really?" And I don't know, maybe we
I'll
actually
just say
need to look
Joon-ho.
into it.
I'll just say Joon-ho for now.
Okay, yeah. The
so-
Korean guy.
Yeah, God, so horrible. So horrible. And the
I'm
other
just kidding.
5 white guys.
kidding.
All the white guys lost at least. So
Yeah.
Pong Joon-ho won Best Director,
Yeah.
which I would have been okay with Quentin winning or Martin Scorsese. I like Sam Mendes, but I definitely would have rather had Parasite win over all of these though.
Yeah.
I know I keep saying I liked 1917 a lot, but the movie's definitely like more held up, I think, of the cinematography and like stuff like that, but I don't really think of the direction that much. So I don't know if I would have wanted Sam Mendes to win, but Martin Scorsese totally could have won. Quentin Tarantino totally could have won. And
I was kind of surprised Scorsese didn't win.
Yeah.
But before they announced the Best Picture. But has there ever been a year where the Best Director wasn't the director of the Best Picture?
It happens a lot, I feel like. I'll have to research that, but I feel like if you win Best Director, you almost always win Best Picture.
Yeah, because
it's very common.
Kinda like, how is he the best director if his movie didn't even
Yeah,
win?
because I mean, I think it's possible because you can have really good direction, but if your script sucks, if maybe you have a really bad score, that'll make people think the movie itself isn't that great. But maybe you still directed it well, and you worked in. The actors were great, and actors sometimes rely on the director to give them direction. So I think it's possible to direct a movie really well, but maybe something in the production just happens that drags it down a bit. So I think it's possible, but it's rare because a good director will make
I'd
sure
be interested.
everything
I'm
works.
gonna have to
together.
look into that because I'm very interested.
But I remember Bong Joon-ho went and he shouted out Quentin and Martin Scorsese, and his speeches were just great.
Yeah.
And this is something Mike on Red Letter Media was talking about recently, but which we don't need to go into depth about things I'm about to mention, but he made a comment about Junho's speeches, and he had a translator and stuff too, but he was like, it's just so great to see him go up there and just be like, thank you for this award, such an honor, shout outs to Martin Scorsese, you're a legend. You know, he's saying all these things. And he's like, it's just nice to see someone go up there and celebrate movies and be appreciative instead of going up there and being like, the world sucks right now and we should be doing better. And I'm going to go home to my mansion now. like Mike they did a Half in the Bag. They uploaded it today and he was talking
I haven't
about
watched
that.
it yet.
And Mike was talking about that. And I was like, that was true. Like, all of Bong Joon-ho's speeches were just so humble and great and nice. And
and he's always pointing
refreshing.
to like other things.
Yeah, he's never like oh,
his
man.
well, I was gonna say infamous, just because some people complained about it, but I liked it when his Golden Globe speech.
Oh yeah,
for like if you get past the subtitles on the bottom of the screen, there are a lot of great Korean films that you could enjoy.
Such a good comment. It's so true.
It is true.
The half-inch barrier known as subtitles, or the inch-tall barrier known as subtitles. You'll be open to a whole new world of film. I think was something along those lines. But
yeah,
I love that, and it's so true. And I just like he's just humble and honest, and you can tell he just likes movies.
I love. There's that clip of him. Like I forget. Like someone was like giving a speech, and he's like behind him, like
he's just like
admiring his Oscar. He's like, yeah.
There's a picture of him holding up his 2 Oscars, and he's just making them kiss. He's just great.
He's basically us if we ever won an Oscar.
I stand Bong Joon-ho so hard.
Like if we won an Oscar, there would be like a picture of us in the background of someone's
like sword
photo.
Fighting with them.
We're like making ours kiss.
It's so stupid.
And we're just having a blast.
Oh man, but I'm glad he won Best Director. He totally deserved it.
Yes.
All of his movies that I've watched so far are great, and I really want to watch more. But I
think Parasite's the only one so far.
I think you would like Snowpiercer a lot. I heard. Well, you've seen Okja.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okja was.
I heard it's
weird.
Like kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of I've heard it's like one of his like least good, but I still heard it's like worth watching.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an experience for sure.
Yeah. I just really want to watch The Host, Mother, something about murder. I can't remember what it was called, and Snowpiercer.
Was The Host
fantastic.
The one before Parasite? Was that more recent?
I don't know how recent it was, but it was definitely before. I think that might have been the more recent one.
Okay, whatever.
It looks really good.
제가 학교에서 마티 영화를 보면서 공부했던 그런 사람인데 같이 후보에 오른 것만도 너무 영광인데 상을 받을 줄 전혀 몰랐었고요. 예.
When I was in school, I studied Martin Scorsese's films. Just to be nominated was a huge honor. I never thought I would win.
저의 영화를 아직 미국의 관객들이나 사람들이 모를 때 항상 제 영화를 리스트에 뽑고 좋아했고 했던 우리 퀸틴 형님이 계신데 정말 사랑합니다. 예.
When people in the U.S. were not familiar with my film, Quentin always put my films on his list. He's here. Thank you so much.
퀸틴, I love you. 그리고 같이 후보에 오른 우리 토드나 샘이나 다 제가 너무나 존경하는 멋진 감독들인데 이 트로피를 정말 오스카 측에서 허락한다면 텍사스 전기톱으로 이렇게 5개로 잘라서 나누고 싶은 마음입니다.
And Todd and Sam, great directors that I admire. If the Academy allows, I would like to get a Texas chainsaw, split the Oscar trophy into 5, and share it with all of you.
Thank you. I will drink until next morning. Thank you.
Anyways, Best Picture, the big
Best
lad.
Picture.
So nominations were Ford versus Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. Now, before the Oscars happened, I was making predictions with some friends, and I was like, because I was so salty from last year. They gave it to like the safest, most harmless movie possible, Green Book, and I was like, they're gonna do the same thing this year, and they're gonna give it. And I was like, The Irishman, it's too long. They're not gonna vote for that. Jojo Rabbit has Nazis. They won't let that win. Joker was too controversial. Little Women has all women in it. Marriage Story was a Netflix movie. 1917 and Ford vs. Ferrari were like the two I thought they were gonna give it to. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is too violent and like at the end at least, or too.
I was
Tarantino.
so sure that they were gonna give it to Joker. Honestly,
yeah,
I was so sure.
And then Parasite is a foreign film, so it wouldn't win, of course. So in my mind, I was a cynical from last year, and I'm thinking like the safest option is 1917 because it's a war movie.
Yeah,
but I mean, I like it. It sounds like I'm talking down on it, but I mean, I'm kind of right where it's like it's a war movie, and then Ford versus Ferrari is just like it's about cars. It's safe, It's
Christian Bale.
Yeah,
Matt
it's like such
Damon.
a safe option, like that. People, I mean, obviously, people like you and me would be like, "Why did that win?" But a lot of people, are like, "Oh, Ford versus Ferrari won Best Picture. Let's go." It seems like. After Green Book winning, I'm just like, they're just never going to take a chance and give Best Picture to something actually deserves. So I'm like, all these movies have something to them where it's like the Academy's like, oh, we can't give it to that because Joker is too controversial, or we can't give it to Little Women because then people will think we're pandering to women.
Which I'm sure there are some people who like those movies that think that's why they weren't picked.
Yeah.
All the film bros. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be so degrading. To
We're
people
film
who
bros.
like
it's okay.
Jokers, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who are like, They didn't pick it because it's controversial. Blah blah blah. It's about violence. Blah blah blah. But
so Parasite won, and I was proven very wrong.
Well, okay, so
I'm so happy it won. I was so happy.
Me too. And with all the hype with Joker, I was sure. I was like, "Oh, this." I
totally thought they were
going to
give it to like. I wouldn't have been surprised if Joker won, but part of me was like, "Nope, too controversial. They're going to give it to Ford vs. Ferrari in 1917 because those movies didn't like."
Well,
offend
see,
anyone.
I didn't even think because with the controversy of Joker, I feel like died out as soon as the movie came out and was popular. But
that was like my backup plan. I was like, if Ford vs. Ferrari or 1917 don't win, they'll give it to Joker because that will be like we're being edgy this year kind of pick,
But with Parasite, it was gaining a lot of popularity. I was like, maybe it will win.
Yeah.
Because it was, Parasite was my favorite out of all the nominations.
Same, yeah.
Wasn't my favorite film of the year, but it was like my third favorite film of the year, but the other two didn't get nominated. So.
Yeah.
but it was my favorite.
Yeah,
and so
it was my
I won a lot of money on that bet.
Yeah. I feel like the day before I changed my mind, I was like, maybe Parasite will win because it just got so popular.
Yeah.
And it was interesting how popular it got right before the Oscars.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a few weeks before it was still kind of like, you can't really, no theaters have it and stuff. But it won and I was shocked. I was relieved. I was happy because it's the first time in a while I felt like they gave it to what they genuinely thought was the best movie instead of just trying to, because Green Book just felt like hey, we're picking this movie. It's like safe. Hey, we're not racists. We picked this movie about why racism is bad and stuff like that. And I was so happy that one, a foreign film won Best Picture, and two, that it was genuinely the best movie out of all the options, and it won.
Yeah.
I mean, best, it's subjective. Like, some people will think Little Women, or someone thinks Marriage Story is the best. That's fair. It's totally...
I mean, we can't argue with that because we didn't see it.
If Marriage Story is your favorite out of those, or if The Irishman is your favorite out of those, whatever of the Best Picture nominations is your favorite, it's valid.
Yeah.
That's your favorite, and that's cool. And if it had won, that's cool too. It's not really... It doesn't invalidate whichever, like Mike, another Red Letter Media reference. He was like,
"Can you tell we're fans?"
He was like, "It's not like whatever wins Best Pictures, all the other nominations, they're just deleted and you can never watch them again. It's not like that,
If that were the case,
Whichever
it's like
one,
the Hunger Games of films.
Yeah, it's like whichever one was your favorite, that's fine. It will continue to be your favorite. But the reason I'm so happy Parasite won is not just because it's a pat on my back because it was my favorite movie. My favorite movie won. It's not really about that.
You made a good choice.
It's about the fact that it's the first foreign film ever to win Best Picture. It genuinely deserved it. Great director, great cast. And I just feel like this is a really important step for cinema right now. Because America, especially, we just always want to remake foreign films. People hate subtitles. The word subtitles was trending with like 50,000 tweets on Twitter because of this. Like, people were having this discussion, and I've never seen this happen before.
What are
where
subtitles?
People talking about foreign film and like the issue of subtitles and stuff like that. It was really interesting to see a topic like that be so viral. And
it's interesting that it happened with this film and not with Roma.
That's because Roma didn't win.
Well,
and it didn't nearly get as popular.
But I feel like the subtitles thing was a thing.
It kind of
before it won.
I mean, it was.
I guess it helped that he had that speech
but
at the
fact
Golden
that it
Globes.
won Best Picture, people are like, that's kind of what got people talking. Because what happens is a movie wins Best Picture, and they re-release it into theaters, and a lot of people are like, well, I want to watch the movie that won Best Picture, but it has subtitles, and like
watch it without subtitles.
And Roma was just on Netflix too. With Parasite, it was very word of mouth.
Yeah,
and it's one of the few movies in recent memory that got popular almost exclusively by word of mouth, because you couldn't watch it easily in America. It was in very limited theaters.
Yeah, I didn't see.
It was at the normal theater like once.
Yeah, I didn't see any advertising for it before I just started hearing people talk about it.
Yeah, it just got so popular, and the people who did see it loved it.
Like YouTubers that I watched, they were talking about it. I was like, oh, maybe
it was a very word of mouth growth for that movie. And with Roma, it's like a lot of people knew about it because it was on Netflix. It's easy to watch. And I think the intrigue with Parasite was like, oh, it's kind of hard to watch. Oh, more theaters are getting it. Oh, we can go see it. And it was just a very, very perfect time and place. And it's just interesting to see how that movie got popular, and it got a lot of people talking about foreign film, and a lot of people wanting to watch more foreign films because of this, because now people are realizing that non-American movies can be just, because I think people have this stigma where it's like, if it's not American made, it's cheap and lame and all the actors are bad. But like my sister's like, I want to watch more foreign films now. And it's really cool to see people saying that. And there's people who didn't see Parasite claiming that it only won as a diversity pick.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that as it's the elephant in the room. And
big stupid elephant. The
big racist elephant.
The stupidest elephant in the room.
There's this whole thing from, honestly, it's kind of sad because there's people that I admire and in the public sphere that have this opinion that have actually seen the movie, and they're like, Parasite wasn't good, and it's just picked because it's a foreign film and it's for the Oscars to show.
They just thought it was this like SJW like woke agenda thing. Like they're just trying to be like, hey, look at us. We're not choosing the movie that was directed by a white guy. We're being progressive. It's like,
and I don't understand because I don't understand. I mean, I guess everything is subjective, you know. I'm sure that not everyone's going to love every film that I love, but I don't understand how anyone can say that they've seen Parasite and they say they think that it's bad. And then they have this thing that they're like, oh, it's just because they were non-white people. That's
and
why they picked
it's
it.
funny. There was this one video of this guy who was mad. He's that Parasite won, and he goes on to say how he hasn't seen it, but he was claiming it only won because the Academy wanted to be woke, and they only chose it. And then he was like, well, I'm not racist, but, you know, doing all that. And then he goes to talk about how Joker should have won. And this is unironic, by the way.
I've seen that.
It's so bad, but
I almost kind of feel bad for the guy because I don't.
I kind of do too.
I think he has some issues, and then now he's all of a sudden.
I mean, he ended up watching Parasite, and I watched his review, and he's like speaks pretty normally in that. He was just really mad in that video, but he's just a normal dude. He just has stupid opinions.
Normal nerd, bro.
And gets irrationally angry because a foreign film won Best Picture. And I feel like it's almost racist to assume that the only reason a foreign film could ever win Best Picture is because we wanted to be woke and not just because it was a good movie. You know what I mean?
A lot of people would argue that.
Yeah, it seems like offensive to me to assume that a foreign film could only win because the Academy wanted to be diverse and not just because they thought it was
I think some people are saying that those people that have this opinion that Parasite isn't good, whether they've seen it or not, I think they also are trying to make the point that the Oscars are racist in picking this because it's like a good strategic move. But I just don't Okay, I would, in a lot of cases, agree in the sense with the fact that I think in the past the Oscars has been very intentional in this, like with Green Book last year.
Green Book is a perfect example, and that's one that even a lot of people won't disagree with. Like that was a very pretty much everyone agreed that was like a pick just to try and please people.
Yeah,
because it clearly wasn't the best movie out of all those movies.
I mean, yeah, I honestly think that it was picked because and I'm not saying anything. I have no problem with movies with gay people or whatever. I don't care. I mean that's cool, But I think that Green Book was the safe choice because
it totally was. Yeah.
It was about a gay guy, and I kind of feel the same.
Green Book?
Yeah, Green Book is about a gay guy, right?
I don't think he's gay in the movie. Is he?
I thought that the main, the black guy, he's gay.
Is he? I don't remember that.
I remember that being in the trailers. I never saw the movie.
Are you thinking of Moonlight?
No.
That's about a gay black guy.
Okay, well.
That won Best Picture? I don't know.
I was pretty sure I remember it because the thing was that he was black but also gay.
Oh, wait, you're right. I think that is a thing that happens in the movie.
You saw the movie.
I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, well.
Because I actually legitimately forgot that was a thing in the movie.
Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong and then...
I think you're right. No, I think that is in the movie. But
okay.
I think they mainly just chose it because it's just a very safe, racism is bad movie, but it didn't really,
that's fine. I don't have a problem with movies that have that message. Of course, racism is bad.
But it's good. It's fine to have messages like that in movies. I just think the problem people had with that one is that it does it in a really.
It's not an interesting movie.
It doesn't have it doesn't say anything new on that issue.
Yeah,
it's just very racism is bad, guys. Okay, it's just it doesn't really add anything to the conversation, and. There's not a lot of people that thought that movie was that great.
Right.
Even people who are more extreme on certain issues and stuff. So
yeah, I would also
it's a very okay opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this one might seem a little bit more controversial, but I personally wasn't a fan of The Shape of Water. I thought it looked fine. It was acted fine. But my personal take is that I think it was picked because it had this whole woke message or whatever. I mean, you may disagree with me. That's fine.
Yeah, I think
I just wasn't a fan of the movie. Really.
Yeah, I watched the movie finally, and I didn't really get that vibe from it. But I don't know. That's just me. I didn't really feel like it had that. I feel like they just kind of chose it. I can't remember what else was nominated that year.
Yeah, it's all very fuzzy for me as well too. But anyways, I can see why people would have this suspicion about Parasite. But if you just watch the movie, you can see that it's a legitimately good film.
Yeah, it's just it's funny because like with those the other movies that we mentioned, it's like those are still like American movies and stuff, and you kind of have to watch them to get those messages. But this one, it's like we just know it's a Korean movie with subtitles, and to just quickly assume that it couldn't possibly win Best Picture is like so lame to me. It's like it's like at least watch it. I mean, you can be like, hey, I really like this, but Parasite must be good. I'll have to check that out. You know, I mean, if you can be like, dang, I really wanted Joker to win. Everyone loves this Parasite movie. I think Joker should have won, but but don't be like Parasite shouldn't have won because they only wanted it to win because it was a foreign film, and it's like. It's such like a surface level observation because that's like the first thing you know about the movie, whereas like with A Shave of Water or with Green Book you kind of have to like watch the trailer or the movie or something to get what the message of the movie is or the point of it. But with this one you can just look at it and see a trailer and be like, oh, it's a foreign film, they just wanted a foreign film to win. And so it's even more surface level than those other examples, and I think that's why I'm more annoyed. And I think it's like I get why people have a problem from past experiences, but I think the issue with it now is even more shallow than before.
Yeah. I feel like I'm even more annoyed than you because I know people that have said that they have seen the movie.
Yeah.
And they say that it's not good, but they're not offering up any reasons why they think that it's bad. Like, okay, like what's bad about it? Tell me.
Yeah, I feel like there's genuinely people who just haven't seen it and they just will say it's bad. I know people that are like that where it's there's this personality type where people will just lie and make up things or stories constantly, and I feel like there's people who will say they saw it and they still thought it was bad but they didn't see it because they just want to defend their argument.
Well, I mean, these particular people are
maybe
usually
they just have really bad taste.
Honest. Yeah, they must.
I haven't seen hardly anyone watch it and not like it. It's so crazy how many people like this movie, and not like crazy because it's like unexpected, but rarely see a movie that's so almost
so well received.
Yeah, like the main consensus, like almost everyone who has seen it likes it.
Yeah.
It's so rare to find someone who genuinely like dislikes this movie.
Yeah.
And it's because Parasite, I mean, we're going to do another episode exclusively about Parasite, but it just does so much stuff right, and it's probably the most accessible foreign film, but without losing any intelligence or complexity to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just really frustrating to see people upset that a foreign film won when it's like, well, just open your mind and watch a foreign film.
Yeah.
And give it a chance. It's easy. It's a movie, And at the end of the day, if you watch it and you still don't like it, it's like, who cares then, Like,
yeah. And the thing is that the Academy Awards, Hollywood is no longer like a strictly American thing,
Yeah.
And here's the thing is that, I'm always, if you want to know anything about me, I'm always a little sketchy about like globalistic ideals and such. While I have no problem with like other countries or anything, sometimes that can be an issue, like economically, just for, it's a whole rabbit trail that I could go down. But the Oscars they're movies,
It's not like exclusively like an American thing. It's never.
I think it started out as that.
Probably did,
because it's California, it's Hollywood, and that's America right there.
But even like the 1917 is like a British film.
It's no one has ever complained about like British films.
It's literally just about the movie not being in English, and that's why that issue frustrates me so much, because it's not just that it's not an American movie, it's just that they have to read subtitles, because it's like 1917 is a British film. It's like people are like, only American movies, we're in America, and it's like, but 1917 was a British film, with British actors, and
but they're like us,
but it's like, but I can understand what they say,
accents.
so I like it, and it should have won. So you can't make that. If you're someone who loved 1917, you're making the argument that the American argument or whatever, it's super invalid because you're just upset over the language.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I do want to backtrack a bit because although I have been complaining about people being upset over it, that really is such a small minority. This is a really rare example where I feel like
most people are
like at
very
least
happy about this.
80%, 85%.
It's just a loud minority.
Yeah, it's
that's
just
out
it's
there.
hard to not look for it.
Yeah.
And you almost like want to get mad because you want. I don't know. There's something about us that we're attracted to negativity, and we'll go looking for that because we just want to see how stupid people are or something. But really, like most, like 85% of reactions to this has been nothing but love and excitement. And Bong Joon-ho's reaction was so humble and great, and he deserves it. He's a great actor. He's a great director.
Sure, you could be if you tried.
So as much as we can complain about some of the negative reactions and stuff, really at the end of the day, I just want to appreciate the movie that won, and a lot of people were really excited and supportive, and I think it's a huge step for cinema because I think it's going to be very encouraging for people to watch foreign films. I think a lot more foreign films will start to get nominated because the Academy will start giving foreign films more chances now that it's just a door to a whole new world. And
as long as it's for the purpose of like if the film is actually good.
Yeah.
They weren't guilty of this for Parasite.
Yeah.
But don't pick a foreign film just because it's a foreign film. Pick a film because it's good.
Yeah, and because they'll have their eyes open for that, I think they'll find more like genuinely good foreign films that would deserve Best Picture or Best Director, and I just think it's gonna become naturally diverse because of this in a way. And there's always gonna be maybe some like stuff that people see as like forced or weird or whatever, but I think a lot of it is going to start coming a lot more naturally now.
Yeah.
In the best way possible. And it's just really cool, and it makes me happy. And especially like Parasite was it wasn't simplified or
dumbed down.
Yeah, it wasn't dumbed down. It still felt like a foreign film for the most part, and there's some like really like messed up stuff in it.
Yeah.
And stuff. So it's just really cool that a movie like that won. You know, it's not a super general audience type. It doesn't feel like a general audience movie, but it almost got the attention of a general audience.
Yeah.
But the general audience loved it. So it's so weird to me that a movie like this is so praised by the general audience. And I think I'm just relieved because after the backlash that the general audience gave to Uncut Gems, I was like, oh, general audience sucks. Like, they don't want to watch good movies, and they just got mad. But that was also mostly exclusively Adam Sandler fans. But it's just refreshing to see something that a movie I'm actually like quite passionate about at this point get that kind of attention.
Yeah. And for a movie that we actually like to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
It's been a few years since that's happened.
Yeah, it's like we can pat ourselves on the back because we're like, yay, the movie we liked most won. But even if maybe I liked 1917 more or something, I think I still would have been really excited for this one winning anyways.
Yeah.
But it also just happens to be my favorite movie anyways.
Yes.
So it just kind of works out. So
you can find out more about our thoughts on the actual film in our next episode.
Yes.
Which we are going to do right now, I guess.
Yeah, might as
right
well.
after we're done with this. So stay tuned, and hopefully that episode should be out soon after this one.
Heck yeah. All right. So I'm doing a recommendation this week. If you don't know, our recommendations are just general. It doesn't have to be movies. It can just be any piece of entertainment or media. So this week I'm going to suggest an album I'm listening to a lot right now, and I'm really enjoying it. It's an artist a friend of mine recently suggested to me. The album is called Sackcloth and Ashes by 16 Horsepower. That's 16 horsepower. The album is from 1996. It's like an indie emo country folk rock album. Just picture a vampire wearing a cowboy hat, and that's like the aesthetic of this album. It's fantastic. It reminded me a lot of Shaky Graves' recent album, just like that weird kind of gothic, folky, indie vibe. Very, very cool album, and it's surprising that it's from 1996, but I feel like late 90s, early 2000s, like indie country stuff is my favorite, because I think Magnolia Electric Company by Songs Ohio was also like early 2000s, and that's kind of like that indie country vibe too. So yeah, Sackcloth and Ashes by 16 Horsepower. The album art is a dude with a chicken, and it's such a cool album.
Can't miss it.
Yeah,
The
check
Dude
that
with the
out.
Chicken.
They're pretty obscure. I was gonna suggest the new Tame Impala album, but everyone's probably listening to that, so I'm gonna.
Well, you just did.
So,
So.
I'm suggesting something, I guess, a little more unknown. If you haven't heard of it, check it out.
All right, cool. Thanks for that, Mitchell.
You're welcome.
So yeah, thanks for listening to our show. Make sure to. Well, I already have like a bumper pre-recorded for this. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless all of you. If you blessed during this, if you sneeze during this podcast, then bless you. Do you remember that?
I unbless you.
Do you remember that from Tobuscus?
No.
He would always say that at the end of his video. He's like, "Bless your face. If you sneeze during this video, bless you."
I don't think I ever watched a Tobuscus video.
Oh yeah, I was a big fan.
That sucks.
Anyway,
it's too bad.
No. We'll see you in the next episode. So, thanks for watching this episode. Make sure to give a kiss to your significant other.
Give your wife a good old for me, all right?
What?
Just kidding.
This is a non-explicit podcast, Mitchell.
I know.
Now your parents are going to be very disappointed
I just have
in
to
you.
mess with you a little.
And now I'm going to get fired because I associate with you.
Go read your Bible. Pray for your enemies. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for checking out this episode of the Podwood Forecast. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe. And if you'd like for us to give you a shout out on the show, be sure to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And also feel free to look in the show notes for links to our social media, our Twitter and Facebook. And as always, stay beautiful, and thanks for listening.